Happy Friday Eve Day to everybody. I'm so excited to see you. It is a rainy, dreary day here in Arkansas, and I think this interview is going to perk me right up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check my tech and make sure that we are live where I want to be live. Yes, I see us. That's awesome. And Valerie and I did not choose to dress alike. This just happened.
It's fall.
But I think we both look fabulous. So I love it. I love it. This is great. So we've got, as you know, you guys, we've got Facebook and YouTube on my laptop all at the same time. YouTubers, smash that subscribe button. I don't want you to ever miss one of my live weekly trainings every Thursday at 11:30. And if you're coming to me from Facebook, through Facebook, and you have not told StreamYard it's okay to show me your Facebook name, go do that really quick. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook and just say, yes, Tracy and Valerie have permission to see my name. Otherwise, when you comment, when I'm on StreamYard, it just says Facebook user, and that's not any fun. I won't be able to see your name until I get into the group and actually go back and look at the comments after the live is over. Today, my student and friend, Valerie Mummert, is here to share with us her journey as an entrepreneur. She's married. She's also married to an entrepreneur. Okay. And get this, several of her kids are entrepreneurs. All right. So just hold on to your hat because I'm really excited to hear her story. But first, just in case this is the first time we've ever met and you're wondering who the heck I am Tracy Beavers. I'm an award-winning business and sales coach with over 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and business growth. I have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you get visible, grow your audience, grow that email list. You know, I'm all about an email list so you can get that consistent monthly income that you really, really want. Pop your questions and comments in the chat as we go along. Valerie and I will look at those at the end. We'll get to your questions. But I know Valerie is an open book. I'm an open book. Ask us anything. But let me introduce her to you really quick. She's really, really special. She's been married for 32 years. Y'all, that's a lot of years. To a serial entrepreneur. Her husband is the visionary, and she's the systems and the strategy to make the idea happen. Which probably, now that I think about it, is the reason why you've been married for 32 years. And you were able to raise 7 children. 5 of those, okay, guys, 5 of these kids, first of all, 7 kids is a lot of kids. Second of all, 5 of them own their own businesses. So this family is just in their blood as entrepreneurship. She says that Pivot should have been her middle name, which is really funny because we were talking about that just before I hit the live button. And that it should be her middle name because what she's discovered about herself is it's never too late to start over or to start again with more experience. It's never too late to recognize and rescue your dream. And now she coaches women into those new life seasons to get their someday dream out of their heads and onto today's priority list. Valerie, I'm so excited you're here. Is there anything you want to add?
No, you covered it really well.
Tell us really quick, though, what I love that you say about someday. What do you say about the word someday?
Someday is not the 8th day of the week, but we treat it like it is.
It is not the 8th day of the week, people. And Valerie can show you how to make it an actual day of the week where you actually do something about it. So Valerie, tell everybody a little bit more. I mentioned what you do, but I want them to hear from you, who you are, what you do, how you serve the people that come into your world.
Yeah. So, you know how all of us go through transitions, right? And everything seems to have changed, your roles, your goals, your body, for some of us, and nothing seems to fit anymore. Like what you knew, it just doesn't fit anymore. Sometimes quite literally, if you're talking about your body.
Right.
So my passion is to help women move into their next season intentionally, whatever that looks like for them. And like Tracy said, you know, I want to get your someday dream out of your head and onto today's priority list, because someday is not the 8th day of the week. We just keep putting it off. There's another saying that tomorrow is the busiest day of the week because I'm going to do it tomorrow.
That is so true.
Yes. Yeah. So a couple different things I do: one-on-one coaching. I also have a group coaching program where I walk you through this. It's kind of like, we call it a virtual road trip, where we walk through my system of determining your dream and getting those milestones down so you can actually reach some of those goals that you're dreaming about, and then how to break that down and get it on today's priority list. So when you get up in the morning, you know what you're going to do. Or when somebody says, what's new with you, you actually have an answer for them instead of all same old, like most of us usually default to.
I love that. You actually have an answer to the question, what's new? How are you? Love it.
Exactly. And I think we all want to do it with community, and we want to do it with friends. That's why I love the group coaching model. And I also do, I'm in the Phoenix area, so I also do retreats, 4-day retreats twice a year.
Nice.
So you can just get away, get out of your routine, and really start to dream.
When is your next retreat coming up?
Next retreat will be spring of 2024.
Okay.
I haven't got the exact date, probably March, I'm thinking.
All right. So promise me that when you get the details nailed down, you'll post about it in my Facebook group.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
And I do have a wait list on my website. So if you're interested in that, you can pop on my website and go to the wait list.
Nice.
And I'll send you a magazine with all the details.
Nice.
Like anticipating a vacation.
Yeah, that's nice. So what motivated you to start this online business? I mean, how, there's always that fear in us when we think we want to do something new. And then our brain goes, no, you can't do that. And tries to talk us out of it. And then there's our family and friends who mean well, but they don't. I still don't think my husband fully understands everything I do as an online business coach. He's my biggest cheerleader, but if you asked him to explain it, he'd be like, But what motivated you to finally make someday now and stop waiting on tomorrow?
Well, one of the things was my youngest is 18. So finally we're empty nesters.
Yes.
And the oldest is 39. So I'll just give you that age span. So I've been a mom for a very, very long time.
Right.
And like Tracy said earlier, I didn't have trouble talking my husband into it because he's an entrepreneur. And, I was looking back at all the different businesses that we have done and all the times we've had to pivot. And most of the time, up until I would say probably up until 2020, it was always, okay, this has kind of run its course. And my husband gets these great ideas.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have this idea for a business. And then I have to be like, okay, well, how's this going to work? Let me put it down on paper. Let's talk this through, because he's the big visionary. And I'm the one like, no, I'm practical, sequential. How's this going to work? Is this feasible? Right. So he's more of a risk taker actually than I am.
Yeah.
So when I said I wanted to start my own business, he's like, cool, I think it's a great idea. But
love it.
We've, like I said, up to 2020, I think every time we've changed businesses, it's because my husband's had this idea where he wanted to pursue it. So he had this business that was bringing in income, and then he would start pursuing something else. And then sometimes that one took off and we're like, okay, we're going to close this one or sell this one because this idea is, for our next season, next few years, next whatever. In 2020, it was forced upon us.
Yeah.
Because we had at that time, he was actually customizing softball equipment and golf equipment.
Okay, cool.
And it was a huge online business. People would either buy stuff from us customized, or they would send us their equipment and we would do customization. I won't get into all the technical stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, in 2020, when everything shut down, all the schools closed. All of the parks closed. There was no team tournaments. There was no traveling. There was nothing. The only thing that really saved us was you were still allowed to play golf. That was one of the few things that you could do. Yeah. So that kind of got us through. But then the backlash of that a lot of people don't think about is when everything opened back up again, that's great, but we couldn't get any inventory.
Oh my gosh.
Because all the sports equipment is made in China.
I didn't even think about that.
So 2020, we kind of, lumped our way through and kept all our employees with a paycheck, even if we weren't taking one. Right. But then when we came out of that in 2021, there was no way to get any inventory. So we were basically out of business because then people wanted stuff and we couldn't get it. So it's one of those business things that people on the surface don't see what's going on behind the scenes and how the economy can affect you. So it was like, oh, well, this isn't working. We got to pivot. We got to do something. We can't just, lay down and die. So that was one of those things. And I'll say I've learned to look at setbacks as setups.
I love it.
Because you can just, you can have a few minutes to whine if you want to, but it doesn't do you any good. So you've got to say, okay, what can I do? Don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do.
Right.
And take that setback as a setup and go, okay, you know what? Maybe this is a blessing in disguise because I've kind of wanted to pursue this and I keep putting it off and I overthink it and I'm going to do it someday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes you're forced into it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is so true. Like the say that again for the people in the back.
Mm-hmm.
The setback is
a setback is oftentimes a setup.
Set up to your next big thing.
Set up to next big thing, to your next opportunity.
I love it. That's amazing. You need to make a quote graphic out of that. Jill, if you're listening, I know you are. Let's make a quote graphic. We're going to put it out on social. We're going to tag her because that is something everybody needs to hear. Absolutely. Yeah. So when you decided to do this and go all in on an online business, helping women.
Yes. Yeah.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced? And did you have any really though? Because you do have so much experience in the entrepreneurial space. Maybe there were some things that didn't surprise you that you kind of were expecting because you had that knowledge of, versus somebody like me coming from corporate into online.
Yeah.
I had a pretty big learning curve.
Right. Well, one of my biggest things was, exactly what you do, Tracy. It's like, how do I get the word out? I've got local people that know me. I've been mentoring my entire life,
right.
But what's my next step? Because like I said, I'm a systems person. So I need to know what is my next step. Here's my big goal. Here's what I want to do. Right. And then what kind of things do I need? Like I had to get my coaching certification. I had to learn social media. Other than just posting pictures of lunch, I had to learn how to build an email list.
Right.
How to set up my website, how to make my brand consistent.
Right.
All of that kind of stuff that I had, a little bit of a background in that, but really, I mean, I'll date myself a little bit. When I was in high school, I had to take typing. It was a required course.
Same.
We were one of the first families to have a family computer, because I was homeschooling my kids way back when, and 30 plus years ago. And I remember our first email address was mummertfamily@juno.com. So it's like, even though I knew a lot of the pieces that went into it, the online space is fairly new.
It is.
Really.
And it's different.
Yes.
I mean, just like you're saying, I moved from corporate local business development, marketing, sales, local, face-to-face to online. And a lot of it does translate. You and I I've talked about this before in the Business Visibility Made Easy program. A lot of it is the same. It's just the location of the conversation that's changed. But then, like you're saying, how do you use social media effectively?
Right.
So you're not just posting about your lunch or not posting at all and stuff like that. So how did you navigate through those challenges? Did anything really stump you?
I think the first thing that I had to do was commit to myself that, I'm going to have to get some training on this. There's a lot I know, but there's a lot I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest things is, and as moms, we tend to put ourselves last. It's just the way things go.
Yep.
So we make sure everybody else's needs are taken care of, including financial.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to make sure that all the kids stuff is taken care of. So I had to say, you know what, I'm worth pursuing this because this is really my passion. And it's just that thing inside that you can't let go. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go to a business conference, even though the ticket was like, sticker shock.
Nice.
And that's actually where I got my idea for doing, the coaching business and everything. And I remember sitting in the last session, the keynote session, and I heard this voice. It wasn't like an audible voice, but it was like loud and clear in my spirit. This is what I want you to do. This is the name of it. This is going to be your tagline. I mean, it was so clear. I was like,
wow.
I really was surprised. And I'm like, okay, but how? It's like, this is the what, this is the why, but I have to figure out the how.
Right.
So then my how was, I need, like I said, get my coaching certification, take some classes, invest in the classes, the groups that I need to learn what I want to learn, and memberships and stuff like that. And then how do I get around other online entrepreneurs in the space that I want to be in, and how do I learn from them?
Yeah. Wow.
So that was the biggest challenge, is just, where am I going to make those investments? Because I'll tell you, there's stuff coming flying at you, shiny things all the time.
All
And
the time.
Yep. And the sales page looks real good.
Always.
So, yep. So, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, I know that I heard loud and clear. And the thing that kept going through my head that I couldn't shake was the next third.
Okay.
Because I have a third of my life left. If you think about that.
Okay.
However old you are right now, you still have at least a third of your life left.
Yeah.
So I'm not cruising to the finish line.
Yeah. Wow.
So I had to decide, what's my focus going to be? And where do I need to get help and support? How can I get it for free? Because there's a lot of free stuff out there. And where do I need to say, I'm going to invest in myself? Because I go all in when I invest in myself.
Yeah, I think we all do. And what I love about what you've just shared is that you're willing to make an investment. One of the mistakes I see a lot of my clients and students make is they think that because it's an online business, it's going to be easy and inexpensive. Now, you and I both know it is easier than a brick and mortar. And it is less expensive in terms of the overhead investment in a brick and mortar, but there's still investments. And that's the part I think that people miss. And you are so correct in saying that there's so much coming at us, especially right now. It is launch season.
Yeah.
September and October, people are launching, they're showcasing their programs, and it can feel like a lot. How do you navigate through that when you've got everybody in your inbox offering you the next great thing? Do you go still inside yourself, or do you look at your business plan? Like, I think that would be super helpful for everybody to know. How does Valerie decide that she wants to join Digital Course Academy, or she wants to join my program, Business Visibility Made Easy, or the next thing you want to do?
I try to plan out what at least my next quarter is going to look like, but I'm a kind of big picture planner too, where I know I'm looking at next year. I'm looking at 2024.
Yeah.
What I want to do in 2024. And then I kind of wrote out my own mission statement.
Nice.
And said, just what's really important to me.
Yeah.
Are you chasing money? Which, I don't want to say that in a negative way, because if you're like, what, I need to make $15,000 in the next 2 months, or I'm going to have to go back and get a job, or, whatever. Maybe it would be nice. It would be a nice goal to have. But if that's a do or die thing for you, you need to make sure that what you're choosing to do is lining up with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wrote out a mission statement. It's like, here are my goals. Here are what I think my priorities are. Here's where I'm headed long term.
Okay.
And then break it down and be like, okay, is this going to get me closer to my goals or further away from my goals?
Right.
And I'll joke with Tracy and I need to write our own version of the Urban Dictionary, because we both like to make up words. So there's something that I call info obesity.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
When you have so much information, and you can get so much information, you can Google stuff, you can go on YouTube, you can get all this free information, but then you're information obese and you don't do anything with it.
Yeah, you're just like, now what do I do?
Yeah. So that's part of my quarterly planning too, is, on my yearly calendar, I have a day already picked out that's like, you know what, I'm going to either just lock myself in my office, or I'm going to go somewhere, go check into a hotel for one night or something locally.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look at what is my focus for this quarter. And if I'm like, oh, this sounds like a really good program, I'm going to go, okay, hang on. Do I have something that I've already done that I haven't applied?
Right.
And if I haven't applied it, is it because I impulsively bought it and then decided it didn't deliver what it promised?
Right.
Or it wasn't for me. I just fell into the sales page without thinking, really, is this really the best fit for me?
Right.
And if it is, cut your losses, let it go, and do the thing that's going to help you move forward on your goals.
Yeah.
But if you've got stuff that you've already purchased, you've already bookmarked, you've already put it in that folder that's, I'm going to learn this someday.
Someday
folder, then go back and say, okay, I'm not going to do anything else until I finish this.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on this. So it's kind of a both and thing. You can't just say, well, I've already got that information, so I'm not going to move forward, because sometimes it's like you had that information, but you didn't make a good decision, and that's okay. Every decision doesn't turn out to be the right one.
Exactly.
So cut your losses. What's going to move you forward?
Yeah. Oh, so valuable. So what are some things that have completely surprised you along your entrepreneurial journey?
I would say when they ask me a question and say, how do you know all this stuff? And I'm like, I don't think I know anything. I look at what I still have left to learn.
Yeah.
And you forget to look back and go, you know what? I do know a lot of stuff.
Right.
And until you start interacting with other people, you don't realize that.
Yeah.
So what comes easy to you does not come easy to everybody else.
I forget that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just think, oh yeah.
That is true about you, because you've been in my program since April. Like, what you bring to the table in our group coaching calls, I'm like, she knows a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like so cool. I love it. It's just so cool. But I had that realization about you too. That's so funny that you say that, because I was like, she really knows a lot of stuff. Yeah. And so what comes easy to you doesn't come easy to everybody else. That's really valuable as well. Yeah.
Or even stuff that's not easy for you. If you're just a few steps ahead of somebody else, you can help them. We forget where we started.
Yes.
So sometimes I've had, several conversations with the people that have gone through the group with me, and they'll just be talking and they'll say, I'm just stuck here. And the more we have a conversation, they find the answer to their own thing. They'll say something and go, that's brilliant. That's your answer that's a solution to your problem. And they're like, you're right. It is.
Right.
So having that interaction is really, really important. It's, being an entrepreneur is very isolating sometimes. So you have to be in community with like-minded people that are going to pull you up, and you can pull them up.
Right. And that's the power that I feel like is in group coaching, is what you're describing.
Yes.
So in your group, we can't see our own blocks.
Yeah.
And so you're able to help your clients see things that they can't see or hear themselves saying.
Yes.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. All right. Give us a milestone that you're particularly proud of since you started your business.
Oh my goodness. I have learned so much tech.
Yes, me too.
That's my other word. Everything's figure outable, which I think I know. I'm trying to think who quotes that.
It's Marie Forleo.
Marie Forleo, yes. Okay. Everything's figure outable. So yeah, I have a little post-it on my wall in my office where I can see it all the time. And it says, you won't, you can't, or you won't. Because sometimes I'm like, I just can't figure this out, or I just can't do this, or I just can't, do whatever. And it's like, I have to ask myself, you can't do it or you won't do it. And I'm like, oh, darn it, I won't do it. Yes. So, and sometimes I'll stick to my won't and go, yeah, you know what? Absolutely. I am not doing that. Right. But sometimes my can't changes, my can't, I realize is a won't. And then I'm like, yes, I can.
Right. I can. Watch me. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me the worst thing anybody could ever say to me, and it's still true to this day at age 53, is no. No, you can't do that. No, that's not possible. Because I'm like, oh,
yeah, dare me.
Hold my beer and let me just show you how this is going to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Jill, I need another quote graphic that says, you can't or you won't, Valerie Mummert. Okay. We're getting a lot of quote graphics.
I have lots of stuff going on in my head all the time. You can probably tell.
Well, that's that entrepreneurial juice that just flows through you.
Yes. So,
is there anything that you wish somebody would have told you before you started this online business? It's kind of like all the things I wish somebody would have told me before I got pregnant and had a baby. Mm-hmm. Is there anything like that that you were like, this would have been really valuable to know?
Yeah. Just because I've been in the entrepreneurial space for so long, I'm thinking way, way, way back. But I think one of the things that Oh gosh, my head is like, I've got quotes from all these people and I can't remember who said them. But the concept was that you need to listen to your body. And she
Okay.
was speaking in particular to women entrepreneurs
Uh-huh.
because, like I said before, you give and give and give to everybody else in your family and everything else is going on. And then you want to, you want to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into your business because
Right.
it's important to you and you're passionate about it. And you're like, I can do it. But sometimes it's like you got a big chunk here that you gave to everybody else.
Yep.
And then you want to go all in on your business.
Yeah.
And it's like self-care, I don't need to do that. I'll give up sleep. I'll give up,
Right.
I haven't eaten this morning. Wow. Wait a minute. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
So that would be, I think the thing is you need to make sure that you are putting margin in your day,
Uh-huh.
putting margin in your life. So you're taking care of yourself. You're exercising, you're eating well, everything you tell your kids that they need to be doing. You need to do. So I think that's the one thing that I wish I was better at, that if somebody just said, okay, here's your starting point.
Right.
For you to be successful, you need to take care of you.
Right.
So put that on your priority list first.
Right.
And then fill in where you can.
Yep. Put it on your list of things to do while you're building your business.
Yes.
Like, you're going to figure out your tech stack. Okay. Well, then you also need to put it on there. You need to take care of yourself. You need to go walk the dog. Okay. And then you can come back and then you can work on your social media. Okay. Then you need to take a break and go eat lunch. And
yes,
exactly. So put it on the list of things to do for the growth of my business.
Right. And it's not the first thing to go. It's, the last thing.
God,
it has to be a priority, and not like, if you have an emergency come up and you have to deal with something in your business, your website goes down.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, oh no, I said I was going to, go to the gym. Sorry.
Right.
But you can be flexible, but it needs to be, I think that's the first thing that seems to go on the list. We'll give up that to get something done. And, the work just fills the time. Whatever time you give it, that work will fill it up. So you need to make that a priority.
Yep. You're exactly right. There are so many times I'm like, I don't need to go for a walk today. Well, thankfully I have a dog that will come and stare at me like, when are we going? We usually go at this time. And he's like watching me. Are you putting on that? Are you getting on your shoes? Is it time? And I'm like, oh God, I got to get it out of my hair. And so he helps me get out the door. And
he's your accountability partner.
He is. And then, invariably I get really great ideas when I do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I was going to say, if you don't take care of yourself, you will burn out.
Yeah, you will.
And then you're not getting anywhere. So you're not saving any time.
Well, and then that burnout, I know you're like me, you believe in God, the universe, your angels, and things coming to you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when we do that to ourselves, we are literally blocking anything that's a blessing. Like we're asking for success. We're asking for more opportunities to collaborate. We're asking for new clients. We're asking for opportunities to network. We're asking. But then if we're burning ourselves out and stressing ourselves out, it's like God's over here going, well, I'm trying to send it to you.
Yeah. I have a friend that always says, God can't bless something you won't submit to him. And I'm like, oh, I got this. When I'm in trouble, I send up a prayer, but I'm like, I got the rest of this.
Yeah. Wow. That's powerful. Yeah. So when you feel overwhelmed or stuck, because I know you're very, very good at guiding your clients to get unstuck and to not feel, to push the overwhelm away and reframe it and all that. What do you do for yourself? What works for you?
I absolutely non-negotiable quiet time in the morning.
Love it.
When I get up in the morning, it's like, for me, when I get up in the morning, I don't want to talk to anybody. And I mean, for years and years, for anybody that still has kids at home, I know that's a different season, so this is my season. This isn't like, this is what you should be doing. This is just a season that I'm in. I get up in the morning. I like it nice and quiet. And I just want to curl up in my favorite chair, read my Bible for a while with a hot cup of coffee in my hand and do a little bit of journaling. And then I take my planner and I just look over my day. I look over my Google Calendar. I'll look over like tonight for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, so I'm looking at my entire week. I know what my entire week looks like, but tonight I look at what I've got going on for tomorrow.
Got
So there's no surprises. I'm not scrambling when I get out of bed, like, oh my gosh, I forgot I've got this going on. So that's kind of how I shut down my day, is looking what I have tomorrow.
Yep.
And then when I get up in the morning, though, I take my planner and I look over what I've got going on for the day. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't see any margin in here at all. Like we talked about, it's like, I've got this back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
You know, what am I going to do? Grab something out of the fridge and eat it in the car on the way to this?
Right.
You know, so it's like, if I blocked off this much time, no, I need to have a block of a little bit of space in between that, so I can tell if I'm overscheduled or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I just, if I feel like I'm supposed to really focus on something for that day, it's like God takes care of the rest of it.
Yeah. Gosh, that's really powerful. I like that you're looking ahead and you're kind of like, you're not getting surprised by anything.
Yeah. I don't do chaos well.
I don't either. Not at all.
No, we were talking about a situation that's going on today with this big, huge thing I've got going on for the rest of the day. And it's like, if you solve most of the problems, anticipate and solve most of the problems in advance, then when something comes in and throws a monkey wrench in it, it doesn't throw you into a tailspin.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, we can adjust to that. We're going to have to be flexible. We're going to have to pivot.
Right.
And we can do that. But if you're constantly just on your heels instead of on your toes, then one more thing puts you over the edge.
Yeah, you're so right. It's just that final straw that's just, you're like, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk for a second about how we connected, because it's so happy we connected. It was through my Business Visibility Made Easy program. It's my 8-week collaborative group coaching experience. And I've got live masterclasses starting next week on October 12th for everybody to come learn some email list growth strategies from me, and also hear about the program in case it's a good fit for them at this time in their business, kind of like what you're talking about. They're looking forward and they're thinking, what do I want to do between now and the end of the year? What do I want to do before 2024 starts? Would you share with everybody your experience about Business Visibility Made Easy, why you joined me, why it was a good fit for you, and how it's impacted your business?
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I had to look at, because I had spent some money on a couple other programs that were, list building, and they were good. It was good information,
right?
But it still wasn't moving the needle for me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those programs kind of focus on, more lead magnets, paid ads, doing reels 3 times a day on Instagram. And I have the Instagram following that I have. I mean, every week I'll get more followers, but most of them are like, I don't know you. It's, your caption is written in a foreign language that I don't understand. You're not my ICA at all. So once you block those, it's like, you don't want it's not a matter of getting as many followers as you can. It's getting the right followers.
Exactly.
And having a lot of social followers is not really going to help you a lot in your business. They have to be in your email list, or like on a private Facebook group. The Facebook group I started with, Tracy's recommendations and her step-by-step how to do it has been my biggest growth indicator. And it's the most engaged group. So it's like, I'm still posting stuff on Instagram, but really that's where most of my focus is, because that's where the engagement is for the people that I really want to serve.
Right.
So there's just so much noise in the online space and on social media. It's like trying to have a conversation at a rock concert. It's like, okay, we have something in common. We're both at the same concert, so we both like the same music.
Right.
And we sat next to each other by chance, stumbled across this row of seats. So there's something else we have in common. But if it's like, hey, we should get together. What? Hey, here, you can find me here. What? That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, me too.
So it's just a very noisy space, like I said. And one of the things that I looked at the programs that I had done, and I'm like, okay, I already have this information, but I'm not using the information, or I feel like the information really didn't get me very far.
Yeah.
So with Tracy's program, you get so much one-on-one with you and so much feedback, and you're always willing to say, okay, let's look at this.
Mhm.
and walk you through step by step by step. A lot of the other programs too, there's so many people in them.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the stuff, but it's being thrown out to a big crowd.
Yeah.
And it not that it's one size fits all, but it kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
So it's almost DIY. And I could have probably done the same thing. Even though you can ask questions and stuff, I probably could have done a lot of that by just gathering my own information.
Yeah.
And like I said, it wasn't really, I did all the things they said to do, and it really didn't move the needle that much.
Yeah.
So with your program, it definitely did. And I loved having a smaller, more interactive group because the way you structure it, even though it's teaching,
Yeah.
and you go through the different modules and stuff, there's so much interaction with the other people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That it's like having a group of people looking at your stuff and going, oh, I'm not really clear on what you meant by that. And I'm like, well, it's perfectly clear. In my head, it's perfectly clear because I'm thinking from my perspective.
Right.
So you have all these other eyeballs on it. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, somebody asks a question and you make a suggestion. You're like, oh, that's a great idea. So I've gotten so many good ideas from everybody else in the group, interacting, working towards the same goals.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to share that with them too. Because
Yeah.
we all know little bits and pieces. We're like a puzzle. But
Yes.
when you put us all together, it's like, oh, great. Now we're moving forward.
Yeah. That power of that group together.
Yes.
I love it. Being with you guys is one of my favorite things in the world. And I know you were hesitant to start your Facebook group, but isn't it fun?
It is fun. It really is.
I know. I love my group too. All right. So you got a special gift for everybody. I'm really excited about this. It's a guide with 5 key questions, you guys, that are going to help you get unstuck and find your voice. Valerie, do you want to tell everybody about it? And I know Jill's going to pop the link to it in the comments for everybody.
Yeah. So it's a 5-question guide. And really, it's the 5 questions I had to ask myself when I'm like, okay, what am I going to do next? Okay. I still had one kid at home, but I'm sitting, like I said, I'm sitting in this conference and I'm hearing this so loud and clear that I'm like, I'm smart enough to go, okay, I'm not going to walk away from that, if I'm hearing it that clearly. So I had to say, okay, like, where am I? I got to unclutter my mind because I have all this stuff going on. I'm an overthinker. So sometimes it's,
Right.
procrastinating kind of thing where you're thinking and planning and, thinking and planning, which sounds like you're making progress.
Right. It feels like you are.
It feels like you are, but you're really not getting anywhere. So that was one of the questions I had to wrestle with was, how can I unclutter my mind? Because clutter is really just an unmade decision.
Very
so
true.
It's like, what is all this overthinking going on?
Right. That's
keeping me stuck still. And then it just, is somebody else writing your story? Are you letting everybody else tell you what to do? So one of Tracy's questions was, what did your family think? Did you have any pushback or whatever? That wasn't my situation.
Yeah.
But there was definitely other people writing my story because I hear all over the place, well, when are you going to retire? It's like, what's retirement? But or how are you going to make any money doing this? Right. Or, there's all that. There is some definite stuff that comes up. So I have to say, who am I going to listen to? Who I'm not going to listen to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to be in my circle in this season and who's not?
Right.
So that's one of the questions too. So it walks you through these 5 questions that just makes you stop and think, why am I still saying someday and expecting there to be an 8th day of the week?
Nice.
Why am I overthinking this and not getting anywhere? Nice. So that's what the 5 questions in this guide will help you walk through.
Yeah. Oh, so powerful. I love it. Okay. I am going to go into the comment section and question section. I just want to check. Oh my gosh, so many people are here. So many people love you, Valerie. They're like, oh, and Lori Brooks is quoting you right and left. I love it.
I love Lori.
Let me just see if we've gotten any questions. Oh yeah, she says can't or won't. Good thought strategy. Yes, Lori, it is a good thought strategy. Let's see. Oh, a Facebook user. We can't see their name, but it says, I needed that. Why do I only pray when I'm desperate and think I can handle the rest of the chaos?
Yep.
Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying is that's why I have to start my morning first thing before anybody else influences my day, speaks into my life, which is, and it's hard. The first thing we do in the morning, or maybe none of you do, but I do, wake up, unplug my phone, from the charger.
Because it's an alarm clock. for me.
It's my alarm clock. So I take that downstairs with me. I have my routine that you don't even think about. Grab my glasses, grab my Bible, grab my journal and everything else. And then my phone is just sitting on the side of this comfy chair with my hot coffee,
Yeah.
and you hear the buzz, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's just automatic. You just pick it up and look at it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things is I just have to start my day with, and every day I'm like, okay, whatever you want me to accomplish today, God, that's what I'm going to accomplish. You're going to make the time for it.
Yeah.
And if there's an interruption or something, I'm not going to freak out, and I'm not going to get mad. I'm just going to take that as, okay, for whatever reason, because we think we're the center of our own universe.
Yes.
And there's other people that we are supposed to be feeding into and ministering to.
Right.
And it's like, if you're the center of your universe, then you miss all those opportunities.
Yeah.
So I think God's talking to you all the time. We just don't listen most of the time until we have to throw up a Hail Mary.
We sure don't, man. Yeah. Until we're like, okay, on my knees and I need help. And he's up there going,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't see any more questions. I know if you guys are coming to us on replay and you have a question for Valerie, put it in the comments and tag her, tag me.
Yes.
And I know she will pop back in and answer it. Valerie, I want to thank you so much for making the time, because I know how busy you are this week. Organizing a concert for your church and all of the people with their tour buses breaking down and all the and you still had made time for me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, because I know they're going to be interested in what you do, especially now that you've shared so much about how you help the women in your program really craft a life they cannot wait to be leading and excited about. What's the best place for everybody to find you?
I would say the best place to find me is in my Facebook group.
Okay.
Which is, if you go to Facebook groups, it's Someday, the 8th day of the week.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. And spell, 8 is the number 8, TH.
Okay.
So Someday, the 8th day of the week. And I believe if you search my name in Facebook too, it will come up.
Okay. And on your personal profile, there's probably a link to the group as well.
Yes. So if you look up my personal profile on my cover page, just click on that, and all the links to everything is right on the side of that. And then, like I said, my website is valeriemummert.com, really original. And that's got all the information about the wait list for the next retreat,
I want to get
my one-on-one coaching. And I just love hearing people's stories. That just fascinates me.
I do.
So you can do a free 30-minute call too, and just call me and say, hey, just wanted to tell you my story.
Nice.
I would love that.
Nice. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay,
thanks for having me.
You guys heard me talk about my live masterclasses that I have starting next week. I want you to join me. I teach visibility and email list growth strategies that nobody else is teaching or talking about. These are fresh ideas you have not heard before. I guarantee it. Because just like Valerie was saying, the reason why I created this program is because every other list building course or program talks about using paid ads or creating another lead magnet and putting it out on social media. And I have list growth from those things, not the paid ads, but the lead magnets. But I was like, there's got to be more to this. And that's where I started developing the strategies that I'm going to teach. It's called How to Grow Your Email List and Attract Your Ideal Clients Without Paid Ads or More Lead Magnets. And I'm going to teach you 4 simple strategies during the masterclass that you can leave the masterclass that day. I don't teach fluff. I'm actually going to teach you stuff. And then you can go and implement that very same day. And it just makes me so happy to know that you're going to learn something you can put into place. And when you show up live with me, you're going to receive an exclusive free bonus. You're not going to see it anywhere else. It's the Facebook Growth Toolkit. So you can learn all of my best practices for leveraging Facebook. Go to tracybeavers.com/masterclass to grab your best date and time. There's 4 different ones to choose from. Depending on what time zone you're in, all the times are central. It's 12:15 right now if you need a reference on that. And I want you to be here live with me every Thursday at 11:30 Central. Put it on your calendar. I get awesome people to come into this space with me. People like Valerie who can inspire you with their stories. Guest experts like Brenda Winkle who came in a week or so ago and talked about boundaries. That was great. And then I'll deliver trainings of my own stuff and my own insights about business growth. But share the trainings, join the free Facebook group called Be a Confident Entrepreneur, get visible and grow your income so you can be in this space with us and not miss one of my live trainings. And you know, I say this every single week. Valerie and I have talked about it today. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard.
Yeah.
Do not try to do this by yourself, because some days everybody thinks you're the bee's knees and your programs sell out. And other days, nobody can remember your name and there's no income coming in. And you're like, what is happening? And you need people around you that are doing what you're doing so you don't feel alone. And so those days don't feel so heavy. So come join us. Get with a group of entrepreneurs that are doing what you're doing. I want you guys to have a great balance of the week and weekend. And remember, when one of us rises, we all rise. So that's why I say we have to keep cheering each other on. And Valerie, thank you again so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, my friends, I will see you next week, next Thursday at 11:30.